Hello, my name is Angelina Oliver, and today I stand before you to ask, is rivalry a good thing or a bad thing? It really depends on your perspective. Rivalry can be a useful tool for both people and companies to help them achieve the highest standard possible. We can see the phenomenon in rival brands competing for customers by lowering prices and creating better quality products. This is also true for individuals, and we can see this in the Constitutional Convention of 1787, where the Federalists and the Antifederalists fought and argued bitterly for months on end, and through it were able to produce a fair constitution that strengthened America. Before the Constitution was put into place, America was governed by the Articles of Confederation. The Articles of Confederation was a series of documents which governed America after the country had declared independence from Britain. Now, this may have worked well enough in the Revolutionary War, however, it would not be of use to its country in the long run. The Articles of Confederation gave far too much power to the individual states, and not enough to the federal government, which only had the power of dealing with foreign affairs. Now, this may not seem like such a bad thing when surveying America today, however, back then, the newly formed nation needed as much unity as it could get its hands on. America needed strength. The Articles of Confederation were strongly backed by the Anti-Federalists, whose major political passion was for the states being more control of the government than the government was in control of the states. The Federalists, as is customary for political opponents, naturally believed the opposite. The Federalists were advocates of big government, which would fully be in control of the people, as they believed that the collective people were a bigger tyrant than King George. Now, in the Constitutional Convention of 1787, the Federalists were attempting to ratify the Constitution and trying to do so without failing and having to hold a second convention. Now, as fast as the Federalists were moving, they glossed over several important factors which highly concerned the Anti-Federalists, the most important being that there were no defined rights of the people. There was nothing written down, there was no Bill of Rights, nothing. The Federalists argued that this was because there were so many natural rights of the people, it would simply be impossible to list all of them. They also argued that the new form of government that was being established in the Constitution would not have the legal power of overstepping any citizen's individual liberties. Another factor that concerned the Anti-Federalists was government's misuse of the natural and proper clause, or the necessary and proper clause, which states that as long as the cause is both necessary and proper, legislation can be overruled by the federal government. This is basically a legal loophole for the federal government to overstep laws that they themselves have created. And the Anti-Federalist fears came to fruition at least twice throughout history, the first being in the same year as the Constitutional Convention, 1787, with Alexander Hamilton's National Bank, and the second in 1803 with the purchase of the Louisiana Territory. Now, the Federalists did eventually add a list of amendments to the Constitution, which later became the Bill of Rights. However, they only did so to ensure support of the Constitution by the Anti-Federalists, so that the Constitution would indeed get ratified, and they would not have to hold a second convention. The Constitution produced by the Constitutional Convention of 1787 was far better than the original Articles of Confederation and the draft of the Constitution, because of the rivalry between the Federalists and the Anti-Federalists. Their competition was able to produce something with a lasting effect of over 230 years, and then some. The Constitution of the United States of America has faithfully served its country for many years, and will continue protecting us no matter who may be in charge. Thank you. That concludes my presentation. Are there any questions?